Welcome once again to Hoosier History, Legends, and Heroes. In this video, we are going back further than we have ever gone back before. We are going all the way back to the 1700s. I am taking you back to the beginnings of our country. The Revolutionary War started on April 19, 1775, and ended September 3, 1783. I'm sure you were wondering how come I'm going to be talking about the Revolutionary War and the state of Indiana in the same video. So just sit back, relax, and I'll be happy to tell you the reason why. First, let me introduce you to a Revolutionary War soldier named John George. John George was born November 11, 1759, in Raritan, Somerset County, New Jersey. As per these documents, John's date of appointment or enlistment into the Revolutionary War was on February 11, 1777. On January 1, 1780, John became a sergeant, and his salary was increased to $10 per month. Well, there's nothing like getting a raise to $10 per month. He was in the 1st New Jersey Regiment, New Jersey Continental Line. John George served under Colonel Matthias Ogden. Matthias Ogden was born in 1754 and died in 1791. Matthias Ogden attended the College of New Jersey, which is now Princeton University, and he went there with his cousin Aaron Burr. At the age of 22, Matthias became colonel of the newly reorganized 1st New Jersey Regiment on January 1, 1777. He did receive the rank of Brigadier General in September of 1783, and one historian described Matthias Ogden as a brave and gallant soldier. Now, I want to tell you a little about drummer boys during the Revolutionary War. I don't know if you know this or not, but drummer boys of the American Revolution were important members of each company. Many did enter the military as young as 14 years old, but actually drummer boys were most often experienced soldiers, even though it is most often thought of them as being young. Drummers signaled the majority of the camp and battlefield activities. While in camp, drummers would signal wake-up calls, time for meals, assembly calls, and mainly any other type of call that gathered large portions of the camp. On the battlefield, the drummers signaled every aspect of the attack, the defense, or the signal to retreat. Repositioning and the movement of troops were also signaled by the drummers. Experienced soldiers were normally used because they played such an important role during the battle. Under 18th century warfare, drummers were looked upon as non-combatants, which meant they were not considered targets. Unfortunately, musket fire was not very accurate, which meant that some drummers were shot even though they did have a higher status. This is a copy of the muster roll of Captain Aaron Ogden under the command of Captain Ogden's brother, Colonel Matthias Ogden. This document is for the months of July, August, and September of 1779. This document shows that Private John George was the drummer of Captain Aaron Ogden's regiment. The larger page shows the name of John George, and if you notice the 1 in the second column from his name, this corresponds to the second page, which confirms that he was the drummer. The document also shows that a Private James Campbell was the soldier who played the fife. This muster roll document shows that Private John George was at Valley Forge in the first part of 1778. And as per the unit history of George's regiment, the Jersey Brigade moves into winter quarters at Valley Forge, December of 1777. These documents let us know that Private George was in Valley Forge the winter of 1777-1778. And guess who else was at Valley Forge at this time? Yes, it was General George Washington. The next document is a letter which was written by the Revolutionary and 1812 War Section on September 24th, 1928, and it lists all of the battles that drummer John George had been in. He was at the battles of Brandywine, Germantown, and Monmouth as a private under Captain John Flayhaven's company. He re-enlisted in January of 1780 with the rank of sergeant, and he served under Captain Aaron Ogden's company. In this unit, he was at the Battle of Yorktown. The Battle of Yorktown began on Friday, September 28th, and ended on Friday, October 19th, 1781. The battle ended when British General Cornwallis and his army surrendered. This basically ended our War of Independence. This last major battle led to negotiations of peace with the British and the signing of the Treaty of Paris, 1783. John George stayed in the Army until the war ended and the peace treaty was signed. John moved to Mercer County, Kentucky, where he had 100-acre land grant for his military service. After the death of his wife Delilah, he moved to Indiana to live with his married daughter, Mary Stuck, and her family. John had been receiving his war pension while he was living in Kentucky. This is a letter written in 1838 to the state of Indiana, requesting that his war pension be changed from Kentucky to Indiana. This document shows that, in fact, John George's request was approved, and he did start receiving his military pension in Indiana until his death in 1847. This shows the memorial for Sgt John George, who is buried in Round Hill Cemetery in Indianapolis. Because the memorial is difficult to read, I made a copy showing that it states, Sgt John George, born 1758, died 1842. Drummer boy in the Revolutionary War for George Washington in Ogden's Company, New Jersey, Continental Line. I do realize the dates for his birth and death are different than what I have given earlier, but I did see other articles showing his birth in 1759 and death in 1847. Chester Swift of Indianapolis has done major research into the history of John George and the fact that he was George Washington's drummer boy. There is definitely documents proving that he was at the same places and battles at the same times George Washington was there. As per Chester Swift, older residents of the area where John George had lived say for certain that he was a drummer boy of Washington's Guard, and many had said that they had seen a certificate signed by Washington himself confirming that John George was assigned as a drummer with the Guard. Unfortunately, this certificate has been lost. Thank you for watching this tribute to a New Jersey Revolutionary War drummer boy who lived his last years in Indiana and is buried in Indianapolis. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe. Also, like and share. Until next time.